And so I found out where his dressing room was. And when we got there, this big bodyguard was standing at the door. And I said, "Hi, we're Richard Pryor's cousins from Peoria, Illinois.
Yeah.
He told us to come back."
You did, at least you knew the city.
Yes, right. I knew the city. I said, he told us to come backstage after the show. And he said, "Y'all ain't Richard's cousins, but you're cute." So anyway, he knocked on the door, and Richard opened the door, and Richard looked at us and said, "Come in, come in, come in."
Hey everybody, how you doing? My name is Brad Sanders.
Ready. Ha ha, very funny, motherfucker. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here.
Oh, yes. Welcome, everybody. This is the podcast about anything and everything comedy. We talk to comedians, wannabe comedians, old-time, young-time comedians, all things in the world of comedy. And today's guest is Roxanne Reese. Roxanne, thank you so much for being on This Comedy Life.
Thank you, Brad.
You're welcome, darling. I always want to know what got you into stand-up comedy, because I know you have a big theater background.
Yes.
But what got you into stand-up?
Creating something that would bring me some money so I could eat. The thing is, I'm not a stand-up. I don't consider myself a stand-up. I consider myself an actress who does comedy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And what happened was when I came out to Los Angeles, I have a theatrical background. That's my training. That's my discipline. I trained at Howard University, the Fine Arts Department. That was my minor in theater. And when I graduated, I went to New York and I did Broadway. I did regional theater and I did off-Broadway projects. And then a friend of mine, Jeff Johnson, said, "Roxanne, why don't you come out to California, see if we can get some television work?" So I came, he sent me the ticket and I came out here to Los Angeles. And then I got hooked up with a group called Mixed Nuts. I was taking the Harvey Limbeck class.
I remember them.
Do you remember?
Was Cheryl Harvey in Mixed Nuts?
Cheryl Harvey was in Mixed Nuts. Talented Cheryl Harvey. Yeah. And a few other people. And anyway, so I was doing the show with Cal Gibson. He was the leader. So we did what's the place on Crenshaw? We did several venues. And so I was with the group Mixed Nuts. And then we got a gig over at the Comedy Store in the original room. And I was doing this character that came to me in spirit, Miss Shirley Dupree. Now, she's a jazz singer who got a little issue going on.
Okay, but we got a tradition on This Comedy Life. If you created a character, you got to do the character.
Oh, come on, Brad. I just put on my face. Now I'm gonna have anyway. Sure. Well, give it up, goddamn. I didn't come all the way from the Betty Ford Center here tonight for you to look at me like I'm crazy. You know, so Martin Lawrence hired me for 5 episodes on the Martin show. And I did basically, she was in another environment. They didn't call her Shirley, they called her something else. But anyway, it was basically me doing my character Shirley.
Huh? Check this out. Huh?
Oh, hurry up and put that mask back on. You bringing me down.
What? Let me tell you something, G.I., huh? Let me tell you something. Okay? You don't mess with me. Look at that Colonel Abrams. You hear me?
You better back off. Hey, I don't care. Hey, I got your back. $5 on the one with the wig. Come on, baby. Shake something. Anything. Your feet, your booty, anything. Make me want to give you my money. Get out of here. You ain't doing nothing. Just don't shake it like they used to. All right, young ladies, have a good time.
So I was with Mixed Nuts and Cal. We were doing a thing called improv called Up Your Street. So anyway, I did Shirley. I turned around, I do Shirley, and she came out. And I consider Shirley my alter ego.
Yeah.
Where she can say anything she wants to say and get away with it.
Yeah.
And you know, that's the thing, get away with it.
Yeah.
And it's funny and spontaneous. And so anyway, I was in with Mixed Nuts.
Yeah, well,
And
you done teased now. Come on with it.
what?
Get away with it. Get away with Shirley. What Shirley got to say? What's she talking about? What would Shirley say about today's political climate?
Well, I don't get into politics, because I don't know enough about it. All I know is something ain't right. And when it ain't right, I take care of myself. I go do what I need to do to get through. And that's have a cup of tea.
Yeah, what's in that tea, Shirley?
So anyway, I was doing with Mixed Nuts, and Paul Mooney was in the audience. Paul Mooney, everybody know Paul, brilliant Mr. Paul Mooney. He was in the audience, and he came up to me after. He said, "You're really good. I really think Mitzi should see you." So the next time we were up there, he brought Mitzi Shore to see me, to see Mixed Nuts and to check me out. And when we were done, she asked to see me and to sit down. And she said, "Roxanne, you're wonderful. I want you to get out of the group." Well, I'm doing a little bit of Shirley and Mitzi Shore. But
Yeah, you're doing drunk Mitzi right now. Mitzi's appropriate.
Go away, Shirley. I want you to come out and I want you to work on your comedy. So that's what I did. I worked on my comedy. I did Shirley. She booked me in the main room, and I was doing very well until that one night I walked in at 12 o'clock at night and bombed.
Really?
Brad, I'm glad I'm sitting here talking to you today, because that night I was so embarrassed and so disappointed in myself that I've never bombed before, throughout my career up to that point. Never. Always loved me. But these people, they looked at me, I guess at 12 o'clock at night, and I'm coming out and saying, "Give it up, goddammit." And they looked at me like what Paul said, I landed from the planet Nigga Taurus or Nigga Rhombus or something like that. You know what I mean? And I walked off, no applause. They looked at me like,
damn.
Imagine a room full of people looking at you like this.
Wow.
Yeah, it was wild. I walked off to no applause. I went home and I debated either killing myself or read Joan Rivers' book, Into Talking. I had her book on my nightstand and I hadn't gotten to it. And I read her book, Into Talking, all night long. And Joan Rivers talked about the many times she bombed and how you grow from that. So Mitzi called me the next day. She said, "Roxanne, you got to find some more characters." So I said, "Oh, okay." I went back up to the Comedy Store with my tail between my legs because everybody knew about it. All the comedians knew about it. They come, "Oh, sorry about last night. I heard about last night." You know what I mean?
That's like that Jay Leno joke. You know how when there's an animal wounded in the forest and all the other animals gather around to eat it?
And that's what they did. Oh, they ate that up to that bomb because
nobody in this business has gone through this business and not bombed.
I know,
okay,
but
get that in.
Yeah, but that was
and I didn't want to
me.
interrupt you and say, "Yeah, I know what that's like."
And so what I did was I watched this impressionist at the Comedy Store. She would do all the characters in The Wizard of Oz. It was brilliant. And I watched her and I said, I can do that. So I decided, because I am a singer, I decided to go home and learn how to give the essence of the singers that I respected and that I could relate to. That was Diana Ross, Judy Garland, Elvis, Tina Turner, what's her name? Anita Baker at the time was popular. Whoever was popular, I just took a stab at. And when I did parodies of them, like I would do Don, "Hello, everybody. I love you." And you all the way over there, I can't see you, but I love you too. Yes, I do. But I love myself more. Ain't no price high enough. Ain't no plot low enough. Ain't no wig wide enough for me to get what I want. So, I did little parodies, and
Give me
and
some
teens.
Judy. You know I got to have Judy from you. You know.
Happy little bluebirds fly. Beyond the rainbows, why, oh, why can't
Oh yeah, every gay man in Hollywood is cheering right now.
It's the morning. I took it down a couple of notches, but she's usually higher register. But anyways, it's 12 o'clock here. Oh, well, it's still morning to me. But anyway, so anyway, I went back up there and I went home and I didn't go to the comedy store for, I think, a whole month. And this is when, Mitzi, I called Mitzi. I said, Mitzi, I'm ready to audition for you and let you see my character. So I went back up to the main room. And this is when Mitzi,
the belly room.
I was in the main room. She booked.
Okay.
She was having auditions in the main room this time.
Well, I used to see the Nick's nuts up in the belly room. That's why I asked. Okay.
Yeah.
so-
Oh, yeah. Because I went. I'm gonna tell you, God bless you. Mitzi was one of my really staunch supporters. Her and Paul Mooney. They pushed me, and I can say that. I know a lot of comedians can't say that, but for whatever reason, God and the universe, she gave me a chance. And she believed in me. So anyway, I did these characters. And Mitzi, by this time, had opened up a comedy store in Vegas at the Dunes Hotel. Oh, God, I'm aging myself. Well, anyway, whatever.
please.
And which is now the Bellagio. And so I wanted to go to Vegas because I wanted to make that Vegas money.
Yeah.
And I did Donna Ross. I did the ladies that I mentioned earlier. And she accepted me and booked me. I was going to Vegas at least twice a month.
Wow.
I hated Vegas.
Really?
I hated performing there. I had my name up in lights with Jimmy Walker, Finest Henderson, all the top comedians at that time. And yeah, because I didn't drink, I didn't chase men, and I didn't gamble. So what was there for me to do other than to do the show? You know what I mean? Huh?
Was Judy Garland. That was
Right, to do my
several
work.
things you
To do my work. But once I'm on stage, I'm fine. Sometimes it's the preparation getting there and all the little voices in your head saying you're not good enough. What are you doing? You know what I mean? So,
Wow.
well, you know me,
What
Brad, for a
happens
long
when
time.
When that occurs, when those little voices are trying to tell you lies in your head, how do you overcome that? What do you do about that?
I used to pay attention to them.
Well,
As
I
you
know,
know.
but you obviously come up with a different methodology.
Well, because I just had within me some courage, some to be brave, reason to be brave, and just do it and rely on my training, my theatrical training. I
Right.
trained in theater and at the Howard University under the guise of Vera Katz,
Oh,
and
sure. I met Vera Katz. Matter of fact, you introduced me to Vera Katz at the theater festival.
oh, yeah,
What city was that? I always forget that city.
that was in North Carolina.
Yeah,
Right,
every
yeah.
other year.
Yeah, the
They had.
National Black Theater Festival. I took my show, Portraits of Love. The training there was just incredible. It got you ready to be out in the world. So I relied on my theatrical training, and I was doing something that I felt a little bit more secure about. I felt secure about my singing. I felt, because that's how I started out. I started out singing in Washington, D.C., where I'm from, in nightclubs.
out.
Huh?
Shout out to DC.
Shout out, Chocolate City. Used to be Chocolate City, but it ain't chocolate no more. But anyway, it ain't as chocolate. But anyway,
The city. CC.
Chocolate City used to be called Chocolate City. And so where was I? Where was I?
Well, your theater training, and you relied on that to help you
relied
get rid
on
of the
that.
demons in your head telling you weren't good enough and all that.
Yeah, and I think for the most part, I relied on my training, and I felt secure with my singing, and I felt secure. I wrote the parodies, and they were funny. The response from the audience said they were funny.
Yeah, they were funny. What did you do on Broadway?
Oh God, yeah. For Colored Girls.
When the
Now,
rainbow was
consider
enough?
suicide when the rainbow is enough. Intozaki Shange.
Say it
what
again,
happened?
because I was mumbling in the background. I want the people to hear exactly what you said about that. That's a very important piece of theater.
Oh, yes, it is. And how I got into that was
Say the
they
title
had,
again. Give the
they
title
had
again.
already,
Say the whole title again before we forget.
for colored girls who have considered suicide when the rainbow is enough.
Wow.
And I was in New York City when I graduated from Howard. I left home, left my mama. Took me everything in my beingness to leave my mama. I didn't want to leave my mama, but I knew I had to go out into the world and do what God gave me to do, this gift. And so anyway, I went to New York and I was there. I did a couple of regional theaters, No Place to Be Somebody, just a couple of tours.
Oh,
And
that was a
then,
good show. I saw that.
yes, I played
Yeah.
Evie. And Les Roberts, the gentleman who I was dating at the time, they had already gone through being downtown at the New York Shakespeare Theater, and they were on Broadway. So they were on Broadway already, but they were looking for understudies.
Uh-huh.
So I said, so he said, Roxanne, you need to go down there and audition. I said, I don't want to be no understudy. He said, you need to go in and audition because you never know what may happen. So I went down there and I got hired to be an understudy. And for
Yeah. I said, yeah.
yes. And so 5 months, for 5 months, I was on Broadway as an understudy.
Mhm.
And I loved the ladies in the show. And a couple of times I went on stage for a couple of ladies who,
Oh,
were sick or whatever,
Yeah, I was doing, somebody got sick and you were able to
Yeah, I
go
had to go on. I do my job.
Yeah.
And so and I was up in my dressing room while the show was going on, and R. Scott, who directed For Color Girls, I was in my dressing room, minding my business, just as happy as I could be, hooking my rug. I was hooking a rug, okay?
Yeah.
And he came up into my dressing room. He said, Roxanne, I want you to go into the show. I said, for what?
You crazy as hell. Ain't no
I said,
doubt. For what?
because I was
You're in
happy.
theater, heifer. You are in theater.
Right. I said, for what? Going to the show for what? Janet Leigh, one of the originals, was leaving to go to study with her guru in India. After 5 months, she was leaving the show.
Wow.
And he wanted me to come in and replace her. And I
Yeah.
said, for what? He said, because I was happy. I was
Yeah.
happy being an artist. I was making money. I was happy. Like I said, it was so much love in that with that group of ladies.
And you can learn so much, couldn't you, being an understudy?
Huh?
You could learn so much being an understudy.
Exactly.
couldn't you?
Exactly. So for 5 months, I did it. I was an understudy, and he said, "I want you to go into the show." I said, "What?" I said, "For what?" And he said, "Because." He said, "I want your energy. I want your energy in the show." And Brad, I'm so glad that he insisted, because I was a big to be. Well, I think I need to go. I'm looking back, I'm having a good time. Roxanne, I want to get you. And I was so happy. Not only did my salary increase, but the show ran for 2 years after I entered the show on Broadway.
What?
And yes, for 2 more years, and I was able to take a vacation, and my salary increased. I'm so happy. And not only that, I grew as an actress with
And you
my
was content with being upstairs hooking your rug.
hooking my rug, being a rug hooker.
I'm so glad God is in control. I am so glad of that.
Yes, me too, Brad. Me too. Like I said, I thank Oz for being insistent about that, and for
Man,
me finally having to give into it, because I would have missed out on the wonderful opportunities I had when I was doing the show.
he is a very wise and insightful man
Yes, he is.
to
Yes.
recognize I've never heard anyone describe wanting someone's energy in a piece of work, but I think that's so important. Now
Yeah.
that you said,
Yes.
because it's the energy that drives everything.
Everything. Energy drives
the state.
everything. Everything. This computer, everything that is around us has energy. So anyway, I went to the show and I did it for 2 years on Broadway. And then
You
when
did steady work, man.
steady work, God, I'm ready for steady work again.
Yeah, I understudied one play, was in Chicago, Oscar Brown Jr., Big Time
Oh.
Left Right. And I understudied Ticking Doors. That sucker didn't never get sick. I'm gonna trip that. I'm gonna triple that.
Well, I never got sick either until I took a 2-week vacation because I had 2 weeks vacation, paid vacation, and I went to Bermuda. You know what I mean? And I traveled and had a wonderful time, and I'm glad to. So that's the only time I was out. But other than that, and
Wow.
my understudy went on for
What
me.
an experience.
Yeah, it was. I'm so grateful. And like I said, I was at the gym yesterday and I met this lady and we started talking and she was saying about her mother. She said her mother was 90 years old, still driving, mobile, still got her mind. And she said she's a super senior. And when she said that, I said, that's what I want to be. I want to be a super senior.
Well, tell me what it was like touring with Richard Pryor and don't leave nothing out.
Oh my God. First of all, it's a long story. I met Richard when I was about 16 years old in DC when he came at the National Theater to perform. This is when Richard was hot. He was on fire in that gut bucket laugh. We just go, oh, please stop, Richard. You make my stomach is hurting from laughing so hard. I have to tell this story. You can cut it up if you want to, but I'm just going to tell you what led up to that. So I had my sister. I took my sister Debbie, who was she was about 13. So I must have been 16 or 17.
Yeah.
And we were in the audience and I was just laughing so hard. And I turned to my sister Debbie. I said, I gotta meet him. And she said, well, how you gonna do that? I said, I'll think of something. So anyway, we went and sit in the audience with our rabbit coats on, honey. You know what rabbit coats are?
Yeah, the rabbit.
Rabbit coats, our long rabbit coats, and our makeup and shit. I had to think I put head on eyelash, whatever. 16 years old. And when the show was over, I found out where Backstage was.
Yeah.
And so I found out where his dressing room was. And when we got there, this big bodyguard was standing at the door. And I said, hi. We're Richard Pryor's cousins from Peoria, Illinois. He told us to come back tonight.
At least you knew the city.
Yes, right. I knew the city. I said, he told us to come backstage after the show. And he said, y'all ain't Richard's cousins, but you're cute. So anyway, he knocked on the door, and Richard opened the door, and Richard looked at us and said, come in.
Wow.
And we're 16 years old, and I'm a virgin, my baby sister virgin. We going, key, just laughing. And it was a big old fruit basket on the table. And he looked at us, he said, would you like some fruit, some nuts? And then he moved to the bodyguard. He said, bring him to my hotel room. And bodyguard looked at him and said, okay, man. And we walking out the door, and he shut the door, and he said, y'all going on home now. I said, no, Richard told you to bring us to this hotel.
Yeah.
He said, y'all going on home now. Y'all nice girls going on home. I said, Richard. He said, going on home. I said, but my sister Debbie told me, and I don't remember. I guess I blocked it out. She told me I found out where he was staying.
Damn. Sounds like you.
And the next day, I went to his hotel room and knocked on his hotel door. And he answered. He came out like this. Yep. I said, hi, remember me from last night? He said, I got somebody in there now. And shut the door in my face.
Oh, shit. Don't need you now. Got one. Click.
Right. Okay. Well, forward the tape years and years and years and years later. This is after the fire, the heart attacks, and now he had multiple sclerosis. And so I hadn't been at the Comedy Store for about a year because, thank you, Father, I started getting some acting work and I didn't have to go there or go to Vegas. And so anyway, I came back to the Comedy Store like he was coming back into comedy. He wanted to do comedy, which he had to end up sitting down doing it. I came back to comedy after not being at the Comedy Store for a year, and I was in the original room, the OR room, and
Mhm.
I was doing. Now, what happened was I was doing my essences. I don't say impressions, but I say the essences of these women and men and I had taped music, not my voice. I was using tape music. And I was doing Judy Garland at the time. And he happened to come in and I was doing, just doing Judy. And after I finished Judy, I had to bring him on stage. And this is
Oh.
when Too Legit to Quit was out. And I said, ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage is a man that's too legit to quit. Please welcome to the stage, Mr. Richard Pryor. Yeah. And I was coming
I
off.
felt that intro. I felt that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And,
I felt that energy.
Oh, thank you. So anyway, he was, they were helping him on stage, and I was coming off, and we passed each other, and he whispered about in my ear, "You're brilliant." And I said, "Oh, thank you, Mr. Pryor." So anyway, he does his comedy, and so anyway, I'm at home the next evening, and I'm sleeping. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and the phone rings, and I said, "Whoever this is, it better be good." Because, back in them days, me, Brad, sleeping late, you know what I mean? Going
Yeah.
through what I go through and everything. So anyway, at 3 o'clock, I said, this better be good. And on the person on the other line said, "Hi, this is Marilyn, Richard Pryor's secretary. He saw you perform last night at the Comedy Store, and he would like you to be his opening act in San Francisco next weekend." And I said, "Okay, who's playing on the phone?" And she said, "No, this is Marilyn, Richard Pryor." I said, "Okay, I know it's one of these comedians playing on the phone, and and I'm gonna hang up on it if you keep it up." She said, "No, this is Marilyn, Richard." I said, "Click."
You crazy as hell.
I did, and about 2 minutes later, the phone rings. "Hello, Roxanne, it's Mitzi." "Roxanne, why did you hang up on Marilyn?" I said, "Oh, Mitzi, I'm so sorry. I thought it was one of the comedians hanging up on the phone." And she said, "No, that was Marilyn, Richard's secretary. She wants to talk to you." And I said, "Marilyn, I'm so sorry. I just thought it." She said, "Don't worry." She was so beautiful. I love Marilyn. And she said, he would like you to be his opening act next weekend. And how much would you charge? And Brad, I don't know where the figure came from, but I just said, I said $3,000 every 45 minutes. And she said, "Okay, I'll get back to you." A minute went by, maybe that. She called back. She said, "Mr. Pryor said that would be fine." So here I am. Yes. So
Go
here
ahead, girl. Go ahead. Get that money.
Yeah. So here I am sitting across from one of the greatest comedians of all time. And I believe that from my heart and soul, sitting across from him on a Learjet. And I said, "Mr. Pryor, you might not remember this, but when I was 16 years old, I came to your dressing room after a show, and you had this big fruit basket sitting on the table. And you said, 'Would you like some fruit, some nuts, some nuts?'" And he went, "Did I say that?"
Yeah,
I said,
yeah, Urkel. Yeah, you said it.
but
Urkel as an adult.
Brad, that bodyguard, and through the grace of God, he was
Yeah.
our angel that night. He was our angel.
Mhm.
Just imagine if my sister, who was 12 or 13 years old, and myself underage, if we had
Right.
gone to his hotel room and something had gone down, not saying it would, that experience with him, sitting across from him, being his opening act, would never have happened. And, huh?
That's God for you.
That's God. That's God.
And the bodyguard, like, "Okay, boss, yeah, no problem. Y'all go
Yeah, he
on." Yeah.
saw it. He saw it. He said, "Y'all are nice girls. You
Oh, he
going
peeped
on
game.
home."
He peeped
You
game
know?
from way back.
Yes. And I often want to, I tell this story a lot, and I think about him a lot. If he walked down the street, I wouldn't know, him, but
He and the bodyguard.
the bodyguard,
Yeah.
it's amazing. So, for almost a year, I toured with Mr. Pryor, and it was one of the best jobs that I've ever had. He treated me first class all the way. It was one time I even had, he said, it's too many people. Get another Learjet and let Roxanne. And I carried a sound guy with me to cue up the tapes when I needed them. You know what I mean? Just me and the bodyguard on the plane, on the Learjet one time, and I went to sleep. And I don't know if you saw the movie The Rose with Bette Midler. But anyway, I woke up and I said, where am I? Where am I? But anyway, first class all the way. Ritz-Carlton hotels. He would have the limousine come and pick me up from my apartment in North Hollywood, where I was living in the same complex with Jennifer Lewis and Angela Bassett.
Jennifer Lewis.
Yes, we have 4 bungalow apartments and this gay couple at the end.
You
And
said Jennifer Lewis, Angela Bassett,
yes, and
Yeah.
myself, and it was 4 one-bedroom bungalows.
Who was the
Beautiful. I
fourth?
love that place. And I was there first, and then Jennifer came and stayed with me until this place opened up next door. And then Angela Bassett came later. And once both of them got What's Love Got to Do with It, they were gone. But anyway,
Yeah, that's a wonderful experience. I mean,
yes, it was.
Richard
Beautiful.
Pryor. Wow.
Yeah, 5-star Ritz-Carlton hotels, limousines, first class tickets for traveling. It was just a great experience. And not only that, when we were in DC for New Year's Eve, he told me to invite, I've come from DC, so I got a lot of cousins, a lot of aunties. He said, invite everybody. And he had a party
Wow.
after the show. So generous to me. And he seemed like he was really protecting me. He didn't want me to be around all the paparazzi or the people, whatever. He said, Roxanne, you going to your room or whatever. He was just so wonderful. I just loved him. I got pictures with him sitting in his lap. I'm just so grateful. And I'm so grateful to that bodyguard. And I'm so grateful to everybody who has helped me. You doing It's Your World, Paul Mooney, who brought Mitzi show up there. Everything I believe happens for a reason, and people come into your life for a reason. And I've come to feel that way more so than trying to make stuff happen that may not be for me. You know what I mean? I mean, I do my part, but you know, when it's God, when it's divine, when it's organic, it can't help be but something wonderful and something good and good for you. So I've been blessed that way, you know. I'm just ready for some more blessings. You know, same thing, you know, like, you know, with Martin Lawrence. I mean, he saw me at the Comedy Store and had me come to do his show, 5 episodes on his show, The Martin Show. And he also called me in when I did Big Mama's House 2.
Oh, you know me, Hattie Mae. You know me.
As in, old friend?
If I ever saw you again, I would beat you like a drum. Boy. You want that beating here or out in the street? It don't make me no never mind. You got something that belongs to me, Hattie Mae, and I want it back.
What does she want back?
I have no idea.
You stole my man.
Your man?
That's right, my man.
Big Mama stole your man?
Is that true, Big Mama?
Maybe, but I know I gave him back.
I never knew what Ben Raleigh saw in you anyway. You can't help it if you're ugly. But that don't mean you got to go out.
Yo, watch your mouth when you're talking to me. My mama raised a lady.
Oh, no, she didn't. She raised a heifer.
Now what?
Oh. Oh, no. I'm going down.
And this past summer, he called me in June and said, I have a role that I want you to do. And her name is Maxine Rivers, and it's on the Varnell Hill show. Varnell Hill was a character on the Martin show that Tommy Davidson was. Do you remember? And I guess they were trying to do a spinoff way back, but I guess they finally got a green light to do it. And Tommy's the star of the show, of course. He's Varnell Hill. And
Brilliant guy.
Huh?
Tommy Davidson, brilliant guy.
Yes, he is. And he's from DC too. And so is Martin outside Maryland. And so he and Kim Whitley and Wendy Raquel Robinson, they're the leads. And so he kept his word. He said, I want you to do a show and then we may do it sometime in August. And I said, okay, thank you, Martin. And I've learned to some degree not to get so excited because sometimes I've had a couple of letdowns, as we all have in this business.
That's life.
In life, yeah. And so when the call came, I didn't have to audition for it. And from what I heard, the news, the word going around was Martin fought for me because they didn't know me from whatever, and people want who they want in there.
Right.
And he fought for me. Talk about people that come in life. And then when you approached me years after working together and to do the Tom Joyner Morning Show as Fontella Bostwick. No.
Fontella Bostwick, I could think of no one better than you. Seriously, that role was designed after a lady in Los Angeles who she owned a living room on Crenshaw. She owned a grocery store. She had several businesses. So the idea was to make Fontella Bostwick a mogul in her own right.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you got Dream World and Big Mama Little Bits, and you got several chicken shacks, and you ran the gamut. I mean, the character ran the gamut.
Yes.
So, and as far as somebody that needed to be grand, can't nobody be grand better than you. Yes, I remember that scene. The first episode where you come in and you're talking to LaQuisha, tell those men if those black chairs have not been here, the ones that I wanted, they can take them back. And then blah, blah, blah. You were just flamming. You were flamming all over the joint.
I was having a good time,
I know it.
playing this character and praying that one day it transfers to my real life. One of the greatest compliments that Martin said to me, and I was so happy because sometimes we can be pigeonholed into characters and stuff like that, and they think that's all you can do. But like I said, I come from theater. I started out doing drama. You know what I mean? So I do drama, and I was watching Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks did comedy first, and then I watched him with something that he was dramatic. And I was trained a dramatic actress, Shakespeare and everything like that. But comedy, I guess with my funny face or whatever, comedy seems to be the one what took off. But
what are some of your dramatic roles?
On television, you can read the list. I did, was the show ER. I did Lou Grant. I did all those shows. Murder, She Wrote. Those you can go back on and see some of those. MacGyver, where I did 3 episodes of MacGyver.
Yeah, MacGyver. Oh wow!
Yeah, and I had to cry because they killed my husband. But anyway, like I said, what really made me feel good when Martin called me. He said, "You know what, Roxanne? I realize you can play anything." And I went, "Thank you for recognizing that, Martin. Thank you." Because when I put my mind to something, and if I'm not that secure about it in that moment, I do the work. I do the work that's necessary for me to feel good about giving my gift. And I take pride in that, and I'm serious. I respect the work.
Well, tell me about the work. When you're preparing for a role, what is the work?
The work is learning your lines, also character breakdown. Okay, who is this person? What are the other characters saying about this person? Where is this person? What season is it? So you do a character analysis, and I just did that with Shirley. Where did she come from? What happened to Shirley? Why does she have a drinking problem? I won't say problem, challenge. And so I do a character analysis, and then I did Regina Taylor's Magnolia in Chicago in 2009, very dramatic role, and I got to sing also. But out of 12 people in the cast, I think 2 other people came from Los Angeles. Out of 12 people, I was only one who was nominated for a Jeff Award.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't win, but I got nominated. Right. So I've done a lot of theater and dramatic roles on television that weren't comedy. But so anyway, when he said that, I was pleased and happy that he recognized that. So with Maxine Rivers, this character for the Varnell Hill show, starring Tommy Davidson, she's a narcoleptic.
Yeah.
Yes, she's
typecast. I'm just looking.
Going to sleep. And she's the oldest one in the writer's room. Bentley Evans, who's one of the executive producers on there, when Martin approached him, he said, "You got to find a role for Roxanne. You got to make." He said, "Well, what? This thing in this business, I truly believe that seasoned or vintage actors and younger actors is such a wonderful combination. It just makes it so fruitful and makes it so profound in terms of lessons, in terms of the it's how we feed one another. That's what
Right.
it means. So I'm the oldest one in the room, sitting there. I'm the writer's assistant, sitting there with this old ass typewriter.
Remington,
Yeah,
manual
right,
typewriter.
typewriter.
Click, 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 click.
Right, with the young writers.
Yeah.
And it just, the exchange that's the word I wanted. Exchange. It was such a wonderful, again, I can say it's another one of the best television gigs I've ever had. And I love Maxine Rivers because she's the type of character who could say what's on her mind also, you know what I mean? And get away with it. And she's the queen of the one-liners. I dropped so many one-liners, and sometimes, and Martin and the writers gave me the room and Bentley. I said, "Bentley, can I try something here?" He said, "If it's funny, do it." He said, "I ain't worried about you. Just do it." Because he remembers me from Martin, too.
Okay.
So anyway, and so a couple of
Wow.
lines I added. So I'm
To have that
praying that
kind
we
of
get
trust.
picked up for a second season. Y'all write in. It's supposed to air in June. I don't know what platform because BET got bought. BET was the one that put BET Plus. But so we'll see. But I pray that it gets picked up because I want to have some more fun with her.
From our mouths to God's ears.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it's wonderful when people can trust you
Yeah.
with because of the work you've already put in.
Yeah.
And Martin knowing what that work is, because Martin ain't no slouch either.
No,
He's
not
been
by no
around a long time.
Yeah.
In and out, up and down, sideways, everything. He know the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And game recognizes game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she's like, "Yo,
I love him for that.
you got to find something for her."
Yeah. Yes. And that's what I heard he said. And he fought for me. Because,
Great.
like I said, that was news on the set that I heard. And I'm so grateful to you, Mr. Martin Lawrence. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's next?
Well, I think I'm going to take me a sip of tea. No. Well, Brad, what's next is I'm planning on coming to Atlanta. My friend Dolores has a theater there, a theater space, and she wants me to do a show there, or my show, my Portraits of Love show that I wrote in 2016. It was my love letter to my family and to my friends. And I was thinking about doing a love letter too, because we found out in 2020 that we have a brother from another mother.
Okay. I
And
remember you talking about that.
yeah, he looks just like our father, spit him out. And we lost our brother John in 2013.
Yes.
And John had said on several occasions, I think we have some more siblings out there. But anyway, we found him, he found us, and we get along, and it's just amazing. He's older this is before my mother and father hooked up. And he's older than we are. He's in great shape, look just like our father. This is my understanding from Rod, our brother. He said that when his mother graduated from high school, she came down to DC, and this my father was a single, handsome, good-looking man. And they hooked up over the weekend because she came down DC to visit her cousins. She went back to Pittsburgh and found out she was pregnant. And she was about to abort the baby, but her mother, who was Rod's grandmother, said, "No, don't do that. I'll raise him." And so he was basically raised from his grandmother. So when his mother died, he went looking for us. And he went because he felt, I guess, spirit is just amazing. When it's supposed to happen, it happens.
Don't fight it.
Don't fight it. And so he looked for us, and my sister Debbie got online and Ancestry.com and found out he was 99.9% half sibling.
That's close.
I'm gonna tell you, if you look at it, I think I sent you the pictures.
Yes.
Look at the pictures. He looks like our father. It's just so amazing how much. So we lost our brother because Johnny was, out of 8 children, he was the only son that we know. But we had another brother that my father was a Rolling Stone, back in the day. But we had another brother who was about my mother's age, maybe a few years younger than my mother. And when Earl came to visit us and we were little kids, we were laughing in the living room. And he was up there in the living room trying to rap to our mother because our mother was 16, 17 years younger than our father.
Oh.
Yeah, so we lost Earl to our other half sibling.
Yeah, I
And John
remember.
passed, and then Rod shows up. So we got a brother.
Okay, so the next thing you're gonna do is come to Atlanta and do the theater, in the theater that Rose has.
That Dolores has.
Dolores, excuse me.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Can you talk about
Dolores
that yet?
Burgess. Huh?
Can you talk about the project yet?
Well, I can't because I don't know. Brad, I've been asked. Sterling K. Brown, he's talked about the possibility of getting into comedy. And he said, Roxanne, you're so funny. You need to do your stand-up again. And I'm not a stand-up. I don't consider myself a stand-up. But you know what? I guess I can stand there. I can stand.
Well, you can stand there and you can do the material and you can call it what you want, but I've seen you on stage many times. You might not call it stand-up. I don't know what you call stand-up, other than a person who stands behind the microphone in solo and performs comedy.
Yeah,
in this
Yeah,
case.
but I'm not set-up joke. Set-up
Exactly.
joke.
Well,
I'm more of a storyteller. I think, yeah.
What was Bill Cosby a set-up joke?
Okay, yeah. Thank you. Okay.
No,
Okay.
it was
I
not.
surrender. I shut up. Yeah.
You're a comedian. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are a comedian, but that's not all you are.
Yeah.
You run the gamut, and because of your theatrical training, that strengthens your comedy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you can bring a character and an attitude and a feeling and an observation together as one big ball that you can explode on the audience's head, and they
Yeah.
love it.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Brad. Yeah.
Because they can see it, they can
Yeah.
experience it.
Oh,
And
I
that's
need
what
you.
you
I need
feel.
you to be here, be my cheerleader. You're a
Oh,
great.
baby, I got you on that one.
Yeah.
I
Thank you,
got
Brad.
Yeah, hey, that's why I wanted you to be on this comedy life. Who can say more about this comedy life than you?
Thank you. Yeah.
I
I've
mean,
had. Yeah.
How
Yeah.
many comedians have toured, not been on the same? Okay, I was in a movie with Richard Pryor.
Idea. What's your name? Luther. Listen, I'd like to bet on every long shot in every race, 50-1 and over this week at Aqueduct.
For the week 5, oh, yeah, I can cover it.
Great. Listen, I want to bet $50,000 that Loyola wins.
$50,000 on Loyola over Notre Dame and $5,000 on every 50-1 long shot.
But I ain't toured with Richard Pryor. Not with the brothers.
Yes.
Day in, day out, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Relationship. Y'all was friends. Y'all became friends.
Oh, yes, we did. And I remember we were at the airport one time and we were in a little cart. And so we were going through the airport and this little old lady was walking real slow. And I got, because the car was moving slow, and I got up off the cart and I said, come and sit down. And he looked at me, he said, get your ass back in that car. Richard did.
That's crazy.
But
Don't be gearing that ride away.
yeah, right. Get your ass back.
Yeah, that's
So,
the last thing. That's the last thing I need, sitting next to some old white lady just talking to me all the way
Right.
to the airport. You better get your ass.
Right, right.
All right.
I tell you, he was just incredible. I have nothing but love, love and respect for that man. I hear little stories about Richard.
Well,
Afterwards, but I have
Richard's
nothing
a
but
great
love
guy.
and respect for him.
Hey, is anybody perfect? No.
No,
He who is without sin cast the first stone.
hallelujah. Yes.
I mean, just stop the hate, because
Yeah.
ain't nobody everything.
Right. We're all human.
Yeah, but Richard, he treated me well when I had the opportunity to work with him. We did the Richard Pryor show.
Well, that big Ed Garvey, one mean white man.
Yeah.
You know what? He caught his brother with a colored girl one time and threatened to prosecute his own brother. 72 days later, his brother come up dead.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And yeah, and the Bruce's Millions, but he made it possible
Yeah.
for everybody to come in and be treated well because of his respect.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
when he used his power,
Yeah.
so we got
Yeah.
respect. on this.
Yes. Yes. And that's, he was at the helm of that. And that's what I said about Tommy. Tommy was at the helm of this show we just finished doing it, the Varnell Hill show. And he was just so wonderful, so kind, so gracious. And whenever somebody brings that kind of energy, talk about energy again, brings that energy into the fold, you can't help but pick up on it. Everything's beautiful. I said I wanted to go to a job that I enjoyed going to, and I couldn't wait to go in there the next day to work. And that's the kind of work, that's the kind of job I want to be a part of for the rest of my life.
Amen. Well, you know what, Roxanne? We really appreciate you sharing your energy and your artistry on this comedy life. So, in parting,
Thank you for
what,
inviting me, Brad.
oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for being with us. In parting, what do you want to be remembered for? Or how do you want to be remembered?
I want to continue to be, I want to be remembered as a person who is loving, kind, um, a giver of my talent, um, and organically. I want to be remembered as someone who shared, who was not thinking of oneself totally. We share the experience, all the parts. That's what I said too. All the parts make a whole. It's just not me. It's just not the Varnell Hill show with just Tommy Davis. It's all of the parts that come together. You know what I mean? That make the whole. And that's the person I choose to be today. Is that I'm a part of the puzzle. I'm a part of the pie. And I want to do my share. And I want to be fair. And I want to be original. And I want to be funny. And I want to be joyful. I want to be joyful in my work and in my life and in all my relationships. That's what I've come to like about what makes me happy is being joyful and being funny and bringing laughter. And that's what I want to do. I just got to find a way, we talk about stand up, find a way to do that where I'm secure in it. I'm not secure in it. I've been hiding, Brad. I hid behind Shirley, the mask. You know what I mean? I hid behind the essences of these other women. I have to be an original. I have to trust that Roxanne is enough. That I am enough. And that what I am, and because everybody who's ever made it in this business or wrote a book, they came from their own experience. And people could relate to that and they were being themselves. So I have to learn to be comfortable with Roxanne. I'm still learning
Well,
to be, huh?
that's wonderful and true, but I'm reminded of something you said earlier. It's not just you. You're part and parcel of so many other forms of energy and people who bring those energies with them and out of you. So you're being your complete and total dynamic, meaning constantly changing and evolving self. If you see that you need to do something to stop hiding, nobody knows you better than you except God.
Yeah.
But I just want to recognize the light and joy that you bring into the room. You and Jennifer Lewis came to a gathering at my house, and she said, they don't stop singing. So then when you bring them to your house, you got a Broadway show right here. I feel like I'm supposed to be writing checks or something. But that's the kind of joy you bring. That's who you are. You emanate that. I've known you these many years.
Yeah.
And it's always been that way.
Yeah.
Even in times of sickness
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
health
Yeah.
and broke on your ass and warm.
Yes. Yes.
You,
And
you
know,
still had joy.
yeah, but just like I said, you remember me, Brad. The depression and learning to recognize it, number one, and to do the work to not be that way and understand why and acceptance. And I remember I took classes in science of mind, not Scientology, science of mind, unity churches. What you reap is what you will sow. What you think and believe, you will manifest. Do unto others as you will have them do unto you. And when I started taking classes with Reverend Bonnie Roselle at the Science of Mind classes because I was raised a Catholic. But it wasn't until then that the light bulb came up. I had an epiphany that, okay, Roxanne, you got choice. You got choice in the matter. And then when Reverend Roselle said to me, Roxanne, it's okay to have your feelings. It's okay to have your feelings, but don't build a condo there. Isn't that something?
And with that, we bid you adieu and we say thank you once again for sharing with us on thiscomedylife.com. Please share and subscribe. Subscribe and share.
Yes.
We have merchandise available and we want you to avail yourselves of that out there. But subscribe and share the many voices that we present on thiscomedylife.com because there'll be something in it personally for you, our listeners, our viewers. So it's not just what we have to gain or what we're trying to get, but we have something to give and we want to give it to you. So subscribe, come on in and enjoy yourself.
Well, that's just what I'm going to do when we're done. I'm going to subscribe.
Bless your heart, child. Bless
Yes.
your heart.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Roxanne. Love you.
Oh, thank you, Brad Sanders. I love you. Please say hi to Joan Asadia for me.
I will do it.
Okay. I'm so grateful for today. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.